One of a slew of media figures and journalists.
Bloodless fucking ghouls, dude. Monsters.
Captured in some instances that the United States defines its sense of citizenship for the people.
Now the president is dramatically expanding the powers of federal agencies to help with mass deportations.
He knows the power of this thing right here, the camera. When you take the camera, that's a big weapon nowadays, whether it's citizen journalism, whether it's a well-known company, or if
I'm sorry, what? They interviewed Patrick Bet-David, Al Jazeera, The Listening Post, interviewed Mr. Valuetainment for this? What the fuck?
the power of this thing right here, the camera. When you take the camera, that's a big weapon nowadays, whether it's citizen journalism, whether it's a well-known company, or if it's the U.S. government trying to go out there showing the raids that this is what we're doing, this is what we're working on behind closed doors. I love the fact that they're doing it, to be honest with you. I love the fact that we're able to see it.
That kind of enthusiasm for seeing people hounded and humiliated on TV appears to be the point.
This is the police. You have a warrant. Come out with your hands up.
The televised raids are a show of force, choreographed to intimidate undocumented immigrants. And while those tactics form part of Donald Trump's long-promised mass deportation plan, they're not new. The Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE, has been turning its operations into TV content since the early 2000s and the so-called War on Terror. Journalists are often invited to tag along with officers enforcing the policy in what are known as ride-alongs.
I did that 20 years ago. After 9/11, during the Bush administration, reporters would join federal agents while they conducted raids. That was part of a concerted visual propaganda machine that the Bush administration mounted to shape public opinion. It shored up support for the quote-unquote war on terror that resulted in the deaths of millions of people, and it shored up support for massive border buildup, border wall construction, and the deployment of troops.
Fast forward a decade to Donald Trump's first term in office, and immigration enforcement had become a PR disaster for the White House. The images and sounds of crying children separated from their parents earned the administration reams of bad press. Trump officials learned a lesson that sometimes hardline policies require softer packaging. So this time round, the administration has used some popular media personalities, like daytime TV host Dr. Phil.
We're here to tell your story and have your back. So we're getting the word out that you're out there taking down the bad guy.
Dr. Phil is one of a slew of media figures and journalists.
Bloodless fucking ghouls, dude. Monsters. I wonder if the Listening Post will put a clip of Asmongold saying that he wanted to dress up as Ash Ketchum and go on a ride along. You know, because it's just entertainment. People's lives are fucking being ruined. People who are not criminals, by the way. Yeah. Fuck around and find out, I say. As I, laugh at the child cancer kid whose parents are about to be deported, who've been fucking living here for 20 goddamn years. And the child who has cancer is 10 years old and is an American citizen, but she has to go and be deported alongside their fucking family members. Yeah, I don't care. Shouldn't have been here. Yeah.
Who've been granted first-hand access to ICE's made-for-TV immigration raids.
These so-called journalists riding around with the police on a ride-along, it's like take your kid to work day.
For 2 days, News Nation was given the unique privilege of riding along with this trained team of officers.
One can only sort of have one perception after this. Black and brown people are running around, and these are the good guys, mostly white guys, going around and arresting them and putting them in prisons. And so it is not journalism.
It's important to remember when we're looking at reports in which journalists are on ride-alongs.
We're now heading to the northwest part of the city.
The viewers are seeing whether it's
Token Yemeni, genuinely asking why you didn't push AOC and Bernie on Gaza and how they vote. I love you, but I don't understand why not. I don't know, maybe because I have 5 minutes with AOC and 10 with Bernie before they went up on stage. Did you see how the interview took 9 minutes and 53 seconds to conduct? How am I supposed to get anything across in that situation?
it be the border, whether it be any.
I also did start the conversation about Gaza, specifically from the perspective of defending First Amendment rights.
Any neighborhood through the eyes of federal agents. And therefore, journalists become the amplifiers of their perspective. So when journalists, quote unquote, embed, we are telling the story from a particular point of view.
In the United States, not having the right documents isn't actually a criminal offense, it's a civil one. But you'd never know that from the language used by politicians and journalists.
If you're here illegally, get ready to leave.
The goal should be to deport every illegal in this country that we can find.
If you're here illegally, we're going to hunt you down and we're going to deport your ass.
As successive administrations have hardened their approach to immigration, the packaging of that news for public consumption has become more and more sensationalistic.
Because you got criminal aliens that are on the street that have weapons, that have grenades, that have all type of things.
In Trump Term 2, the government provides news outlets with not just the drama of the raids, but a new TV-friendly protagonist, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, who joins in on the action, complete with branded body armor.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem came along for the raid.
How many of these do you expect you'll witness as secretary?
I hope a lot.
One of the most important things the Trump administration is doing is the fact that they're televising their raids. And the reason why this...
Why is Patrick Bet-David talking about this? Like, I'm so confused. They couldn't find another guy? Like, they had to find a guy who's like pro-Trump? This is like genuinely shocking to me.
This is very important is because that's what their voters wanted. They were concerned about the 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants that came across the border. And so their job is to say, hey, we're doing our job. It's televised. Here's the camera. This is what we got going on.
You want cameras at these events, don't you? And some would say you want this spectacle to be filmed.
It's not a spectacle. This is our nation's law enforcement judicial process.
It's such a great publicity stunt to scare the crap out of the people that are here illegally, specifically the ones that are criminals.
Televised events, raids, are so important to defining an enemy. Someone who cannot speak for themselves, someone for whom we have little to no information, imagery that is meant to communicate to people where their places, and in some instances that they have no rights, and ultimately nothing can be done to help you.
Social media is where ICE showcases the numerous quote-unquote criminals they've apprehended. In most cases, the agency makes no distinction between those suspected of a crime and those who've actually been found guilty of criminal activity. However, data released by ICE paints a different picture. It shows that the surge in arrests of undocumented immigrants largely targets people without criminal convictions or criminal charges. And yet, the show goes on. In February, the White House tweeted a video scenes from the deportation of immigrants. It was ugly and gratuitous. But for Trump supporters, it serves as evidence that they're getting exactly what they voted for.
I don't mind imposing some fear in criminals that came here illegally and are hurting citizens. Our job is to make sure people who live here legally are safe. So if we can make an example of them and show clips like that, I'm not surprised that they're doing that. I actually like it. And if it makes some people uncomfortable, I like it even more. Americans voted on November 5th, 2024, and they wanted America to be safer, and that's exactly what this administration
Yeah, I
is.
feel so much safer with this image juxtaposed over Patrick Bet-David, resident expert on growing fascist movements in the United States of America. I feel so safe, dude. When I think about safety, I think like Nazi Germany, you know? I think Nazi Germany style Gestapo raids on unsuspecting people who've been living here for 10, 20, 30 fucking years, who haven't really done anything wrong. Amazing.